So as you can see here, first and foremost, the syllabus of public administration optional is very small and very compact compared to all other options. For example, if we take our other popular options like geography or history, it takes at least 7 to 8 months for you to master the entire syllabus. Sometimes it can be more also. It takes a lot of time because not only the syllabus, there are so many topics, there are so many other things which you have to master. That is the reason why either public administration is the preferred choice for most of the aspirants because very small and compact syllabus. Next important thing, as you can see here on the screen also, it covers maximum number of topics in your general studies examination. In your general studies papers, public administration covers maximum number of topics. What are topics? How and how it is covered is what that we will see now. For example, in your paper 1 general studies, you have a topic called social issues, where you will be studying about communalism, regionalism, women empowerment, and other issues, especially impact of globalization on culture. This is what we study in public administration. We have topics in public administration, paper 1 and paper 2, like women empowerment, anti-development thesis, women and development, development dynamics. In Indian administration, we have those topics like regionalism as well as communalism, electoral reforms. We shall be studying all of them in public administration. It means that whether you are taking public administration or not, you have to study all of them in your general studies papers. But if you are taking public administration, the advantage is that you are completing both of them, both in public administration as well as general studies. And of course, you will also be studying those topics in a much more detailed manner in public administration by looking into relevant thinkers and also analyzing those things. Next, as you can see again here on your slide here, you can see the entire uh, you can see that this entire polity and governance, including multilateral institutions, which is part of your paper 2 of public administration as well as general studies paper 2 is covered in your public administration. General studies paper 2 is what you have is constitution, polity, governance, social issues, and international relations. In public administration, you will be studying all of them and much more. You will be studying more than what is there in paper 2. You will be studying more than what is there in polity governance. That is the reason why what you can see here is that those who get good marks, in Indian administration, that is public administration paper 2, are the ones who always get good marks in general studies paper 2, polity governance paper also, because the topics are the same. And the only thing is that in public administration you study those topics in a much more detailed manner than in general studies. The difference, let me tell you again here. In general studies, normally you study about constitution, but you don't study about polity and governance. But if we look at the question papers in the last 3-4 years, UPSC is focusing more on polity governance, which is what is needed, which is what you are studying from public administration point of view. Next, come to the paper 3 of general studies. In paper 3, public administration covers a significant part of your economy. For example, planning is there, budgets are there, fiscal policy, monetary policy, inclusive growth, poverty alleviation, public-private partnerships. All these things are the ones which we shall be studying in public administration. You have to study all of them. For example, 2 years back in public administration, a question was asked about indicative planning. The same question was asked repeated in your economy paper last year, before last year. Similarly, the question was asked about public-private partnership. What are the problems? The same question was asked in Indian economy again in last year. So that is what again the advantage of having public administration optional. Moving on, in paper 3 itself, you have internal security, disaster management. So if you take again internal security and disaster management, if you look at the Indian administration syllabus, that is public administration paper 2, Indian administration syllabus, if you look at it, you have a topic called law and order. In law and order topic, you will be studying about all the institutions that are responsible for law and order in the country. What are the problems with law and order in the country? You will be studying about Naxalism, terrorism, communalism, regionalism, cyber security. All these topics are there again in your public administration, in your general studies paper 3 as part of internal security. Again, if you are studying all of them in public administration, you will be repeating them in your paper 3 of general studies also. And then there is a topic called disaster management. This topic is there again in public administration. We will be studying in public administration about what are the different types of disasters. How do we categorize disasters? What are the reasons for failure of disaster management in India? And what should be done to make disaster management successful? All these things again you will be studying in your general studies paper 3. For example, we say that there are two types of disasters, natural disasters and man-made disasters. And we say that the government has to be proactive in disaster management. We'll talk about all those disasters, where it is earthquakes, landslides, floods, drought and famine conditions. And we will see why they are taking place, what kind of proactive measures that can be taking place. And that is the reason why we'll be looking at so many second administrative reforms commission reports, finding out what exactly are the reasons and what could be the solutions. This is what we will be studying in public administration. This is what you will be studying in general studies also. Next, come to the general studies paper 4. If you look at general studies paper 4, if you see that one, ethics, this is what the paper 4 says. In your ethics, general studies paper 4, half the questions are from theoretical part, remaining half are case studies. So why did UPSC include this ethics paper in your syllabus in the first place? Why? Because they would like to see those candidates who are getting into civil services, whether they have administrative aptitude or not. What is this administrative aptitude that we talk about all the time? It means whether they have the ability, to face real life situations that are faced by the administrator and come out with solutions or not. Having a theoretical knowledge is different, but having that kind of practical experience is completely altogether different. UPSC would like to see whether those who are preparing for this examination have that kind of administrative aptitude or not. How do they know about the fact that whether they have administrative aptitude or not? That is done with the help of what is called case studies. And all the 6 case studies given by UPSC in this ethics paper, all 6 case studies given by UPSC in ethics paper are related to administration, including this year also. Those 6 case studies demand administrative aptitude on the part of the candidates who are taking this examination. Similarly, if you take section A, good governance, transparency and accountability, decentralization and participation, civil services values, Max Weber's bureaucratic theory, rationality, value neutrality versus value commitment, attitude and aptitude. All these things are the ones which we shall be studying in public administration. Values in administration. Absence of values in administration results in corruption. What are the reasons for corruption? Why corruption? What should be done to tackle corruption? This is what you will be studying as part of public administration. So if you look at it, ultimately at the end of the day, this ethics paper require what we call administrative aptitude. It requires administrative aptitude. That means you need skills of administration. You need knowledge of administration. You need complete information about administration. Because at the end of the day, what you must remember is that all of you are going to be administrators. By getting into civil services, you are going to be administrators. You are not going to be historians. You are not going to be geographers. You are not going to be philosophers. You are not going to be mathematicians. You are not going to be physicists. And you are going to be administrators. And what UPSC is looking from you is whether you have those kind of administrative skills or not. What they are looking from you is whether you have those kind of administrative knowledge or not. That is what they would like to test you. And that is the reason why, UPSC is looking for these things from you. And where do you get all this kind of knowledge? You get all this knowledge from public administration. And come to the last point, as you can see on your screen also. There are at least 3 to 4 essays which are either taken from public administration, which are related to public administration, whether it is interstate river waters, whether it is jobless growth, whether it is cooperative federalism, whether it is media, whether it is education and health. What you can see common to all of them is all of them are related to administration. That is the reason why we say that at the end of the day, public administration is one of the most important optionals in this UPSC examination. It is perhaps the most important optional from your main examination point of view, especially from your general studies point of view. Not only that, in your preliminary examination, there are at least 15 questions that are asked from polity. You will be studying all of them in public administration as part of Indian administration. You will study all of them from point of view of Indian administration. And economy, they are asking at least 12 to 13 questions. Again, these economy questions are mostly dealt in public administration. Whether it is prelims or mains, what you can see is that public administration continues to play a very important role. You can see overall out of 1250 marks of general studies papers, public administration covers at least 800 marks. That means if you are studying for 500 marks of optional paper of public administration, you will be able to do at least 800 marks of your general studies papers. There are 2-3 advantages here. One is you are saving a lot of time. Second one is you will have more clarity compared to others. Third one is you will have better writing skills compared to others when you are writing general studies papers. That is the reason why you can see that in the last few years, from 2013 onwards, when UPSC changed the syllabus of the main examination till now, in all the years, those who have got good marks in public administration invariably scored very well in general studies papers also. For example, this year the top ranker, you know who is the top ranker this year? Pradeep Singh, the top ranker, and he got top marks in public administration, and he was top scorer in all papers of general studies also. In all papers of general studies, he was a top scorer. Why did he get those kind of marks? Obviously because of his knowledge of public administration. If you are good with public administration, as I mentioned, you are automatically good with general studies also. Next, as you can see on the screen here, on the slide here, public administration, it is related to current events. If you are good with the current events, you will always be good with public administration also. You will always score very well in public administration. That is the reason why in the last few years or so, take any of our top rankers from our institution. All of them have got very good scores in general studies papers. All of them have got very good marks in all general studies papers because they are good with current affairs, they are good with public administration, automatically they are good with general studies also. And then I can say here, you can prepare this optional. What is the amount of time that is needed to prepare for this optional? Maximum 3 to 3.5 months, at best 4 months. And out of these 4 months, 3 months you are studying simultaneously for general studies also, because 80% of the syllabus of public administration coincides with your general studies syllabus also. It is almost the same. It is almost the same. And the only advantage in public administration is that you will be studying those topics in a much more deeper manner, in a much more in-depth manner than those who study them in general studies. That is the reason why. That is the reason why people always prefer public administration. And as you can see here, this public administration optional has produced many top rankers in recent times, including this year's top ranker Pradeep Singh also. It has produced many top rankers, including Pradeep Singh also. Now, continuing with continuing with what we are discussing, let us also see what are the other advantages of this public administration. Why students should take up public administration? Continuing with this, let us see what are the other advantages of public administration. Why we should take public administration? Public administration is mostly preferred by students from engineering background. Why? It is preferred by students from engineering background because the syllabus is very, what you call, scientific in nature. That means it is more related to understanding the subject, understanding the concept. If you look at the thinkers that we study in public administration, most of them had come out with their theories on the basis of what we call rationality, on the basis of scientificism, on the basis of empiricism. That is the reason why those who are from science background are the ones who take public administration and who also succeed in clearing this examination with public administration. And those who are from arts and humanities background, obviously public administration is a very attractive option for them because it deals with day-to-day affairs, it deals with current affairs. You don't require any kind of what we call specific domain knowledge to master the subject. You don't need any kind of in-depth knowledge, unlike other optionals of UPSC examination. This is another reason why we find that public administration continues to be one of the most popular options. Next reason why people take public administration is, in public administration, what is important is answer writing. And this answer writing is also very, what we call, scientific in nature. You have to follow certain processes, you have to follow certain procedures, you have to follow certain structures, which is exactly the same as you follow in general studies papers. That is the reason why when I speak about answer writing in public administration, I say that it is exactly the same as you follow in general studies. Again, that is also the reason why, as I keep on saying, those who get good marks in public administration automatically, invariably get good marks in general studies also, because the answer writing is the same. What is that we are talking about here? What are the similarities here? You have to talk about interlinking the concepts. You have to talk about interlinking the thinkers. You have to talk about linking the concepts to current affairs. You have to talk about following what we call it as systems approach, which we study extensively in public administration, which has to be used extensively in your general general studies also. You have to talk about all those things. And that is the reason why a person who masters the art of answer writing in public administration will invariably get very good marks in all general studies papers also. This is another advantage of taking public administration. Next advantage of taking public administration is, as I said, the number of books that you have to read are also very less. If you take public administration, the books you have to read are very few. Maximum you have to read 3-4 books, not more than that. You have to read only 3-4 books. But what you have to read more are various reports of Government of India. For example, Second Administrative Reforms Commission has submitted 15 reports. And what UPSC has done is that UPSC has divided those 15 reports into 4 papers of your general studies. Almost all those reports you'll be studying for public administration. For example, there is a report on right to information, RTI, which is there in your general studies both paper 2 and paper 4, which is there in your public administration paper 2 and paper 1 also. There are common topics like citizen charters, right to information, corruption, social audits, self-help groups, secretariat reforms, rural development, urban development, union-state relations, financial administration, budgets, fiscal policy, monetary policy, internal security, disaster management. For example, there are 2 reports of Second Administrative Reforms Commission regarding internal security. One is on terrorism, second one is on public order. There is one report of second ERC on disaster management called crisis management. So if you see that you have to read all those things for your public administration, and automatically when you are reading them for your public administration, you are also covering your general studies papers. In general studies, the students may not be reading those things. Why? Because they may not know that they have to study all those things also. But for public administration students, they have to read all of them. Their preparation starts and ends with only those reports. That is the reason why public administration again becomes a very, very popular optional among the students preparing for UPSC examination. Next important reason why public administration continues to be very important, significant from your UPSC examination point of view is Bus 1 committee was appointed by UPSC some time back. UPSC has appointed Bus 1 committee. And what was the objective of this Bus 1 committee that was appointed by UPSC? Bus 1 committee was appointed by UPSC to suggest what we call reforms in the recruitment process related to civil services. One of the important recommendations made by Bus 1 committee is that UPSC should make the question papers more from what is called administrative perspective. The focus should be more on administrative perspective. As I mentioned, you have to be administrators tomorrow. Whether you are a district collector or a superintendent of police or an income tax officer or a customs officer, you are an administrator. You need administrative aptitude. And another important recommendation made by Bus 1 committee, please remember this is a very important recommendation. It has suggested to UPSC that public administration should be made a compulsory paper. At present, as you know, there are 5 papers of general studies, 4 papers of general studies along with 1 general essay, and 2 papers of optional. These are the papers which determine your ranking and service in the UPSC examination along with your personality test. Now, what Bus 1 committee has recommended is that let public administration, I repeat, it has said that let public administration be made a compulsory paper like other papers of general studies. It has recommended public administration and law to be compulsory papers along with other papers of general studies. Why? Because, as I said, everyone recognizes the importance of public administration. Everyone recognizes the importance of public administration in the civil services examination. So tomorrow, if the government of India decides to implement the recommendations of Baswan committee, what you can be sure of is that tomorrow, what you can be sure of is that public administration is going to be very helpful for you. Your knowledge of public administration is going to be very, very helpful for you because it will be made a compulsory paper like other papers of general studies. General studies. And that is the reason why, if you look at in the last 4 years, especially from 2016 2017 onwards, in the last 4 years, if you look at all the main papers of general studies, all of them, what you find them is only administrative aptitude, administrative perspective, especially ethics paper. In ethics paper, the questions are directly picked up from the previous year's question papers of public administration. I repeat, in ethics paper, in section A, the questions of section A in ethics paper are directly picked up from previous year's question papers of public administration, both paper 1 and Indian administration. If you want to master this ethics paper, if you want to get good scores in ethics paper, last year, two of the top scorers in ethics paper are from our classroom only. And both of them have scored almost 160 out of 250 marks in ethics paper. One is Pradeep Singh and another one is the 90th ranker, one more girl. And both of them have public administration option. And both of them have done excellently in ethics paper also. Why? Because, as I said, UPSC is looking for administrative knowledge, administrative skills. UPSC is looking for administrative aptitude. This is why public administration continues to be one of the most important and popular optionals in the civil services examination. As you can see here, whatever that we have mentioned, you can see that at the end of the day, if you are preparing for public administration, it means that you are also doing very well in your general studies papers. It means that you are also doing very well with your general studies papers. And ultimately, your success in the civil services examination depends on how you do in your optional paper. Even though UPSC has removed one optional, in the last few years, what we have seen is that those who are scoring good marks in optional are the ones who will be getting into services. In the last few years, most of the students are scoring very well in public administration, including last year also. Some of our students have scored about 300 marks in public administration. Whereas in other optionals, the average scores was around 240. In public administration, those who got into services, their average score was 280 marks. Because of which, again, it continues to be a very, very important and a popular option. I think these are all the reasons that are more than sufficient for you to take up public administration option. And all these are reasons are only from the point of view of your preparation for UPSC examination. This is where the students have to be very, very careful in selecting their options. From the perspective of public administration, as you can see, I have given you why you should be taking public administration option. I think this should be more than sufficient for you to see the advantages of the merits of this option. Thank you very much. Hope you are able to get the sufficient knowledge about the discipline of public administration through this lecture. Thank you very much. Best of luck.